The first gadget is something that calls itself the WonderCube. That's a pretty bold statement. It claims to combine all your smartphone essentials into this one tiny little piece here. So for starters, it's a charging cable. One end has a micro USB for your phone, or USB-C if you're using this adapter, and the other end plugs into your charger. It's a keyring, it's a torch, and you can slip a 128 gig micro SD card into here to add storage to your phone. There's more. It's also, if you peel this back, a sticky pad. So you can whack it onto the back of your smartphone and all of a sudden you've got a stand, so you can watch more smartphone gadget videos. And this one's really wacky. If you're running out of battery on the go, you can open it up here, where you can physically attach a 9-volt battery, and it'll use it to send power to your phone. It's a cool feature, just a weird one. Like, who actually goes about their day-to-day life with a spare 9-volt battery in their pocket? Anyways, gadget number 2 is one of the most impressive products I've seen this side of 2020. I'd go as far as to say that this is a projector done right. As well as the main bulb, you've got an autofocus module. So you shine this onto a new wall, give it 5 seconds, and the picture is pin sharp. Plus, it autocorrects its own aspect ratio depending on the angle of projection. So for example, I could sit it on the floor, pointing upwards, or I could put it on a table next to me, pointing sideways, and it would autocorrect to still having a flat picture in front of you. It pumps out surprising brightness for its pint-sized stature. The audio is loud and punchy, and actually if you press this button here, it turns into a dedicated Bluetooth speaker, and it can do all of that whilst having an inbuilt battery that'll give it 4 hours of continuous wireless projection. It's even Android powered, so it has apps of its own, Netflix and YouTube, etc. But what I've been doing is plugging my phone directly into it and watching content that way. It's not a cheap product, but it is a good product. These are the Marshall Monitor 2 active noise cancelling headphones, and in my eyes, aside from the sound quality and the new fancy swivel design, there's 4 cool differentiating factors with these, and thanks to Marshall for sponsoring this inclusion. So, as the name suggests, active noise cancellation. 10 levels of it. So if you open the Marshall app, you can adjust the amount of outside noise you want to be able to hear. And at its maximum, it gives you that same sense of sitting in a bubble that you get with other top-end headsets. The battery life is seriously good. You're getting up to 30 hours with noise cancellation turned on, and 45 hours without. And then range. You're probably not going to leave these headphones and go wandering in public, but if you're at home just listening away, the range has been so impressive that I was leaving my phone upstairs and just taking the headphones down and the connection wouldn't drop. And finally, relevant to your smartphone, you've got a Google Assistant button, which does exactly what it says on the tin, and a control knob which gives you remote control over your phone. Okay, let's go simple for a minute. This is the TidyDock, here to make your charging experience easier. So it fits over your charging brick, hides your cables, and means that your phone can be standing upright in case you still wanted to use it while that battery is ticking up. If you like art, and you like smartphones, Meural is a treat. An expensive treat, mind you, but as far as I've seen, it's one of a kind. So, as you can probably tell, it looks an awful lot like a framed painting, but it's blank. Well, this blank space you can fill with anything. I know, smart painting frames. What a time to be alive. Using the app, you can flick between famous paintings from around the world. You've got motion artworks, which I think take better advantage of the tech, or even just straight up photos from your camera roll. And it has a few features that make it more than just a TV that sits on your wall. There's an ambient sensor, which scales the brightness of the painting according to your room's brightness. And the cool thing here is that it'll also know when you've turned the lights off, and it'll switch itself off. You've got that screen, which itself is coated in a matte layer that genuinely makes paintings look like paintings. It's got auto-rotate, it'll know which way up it is, and offer you a library of content that suits that orientation. Plus, gestures. One wave of your hand and the artwork changes. Or, if you're more one for routines, you can set it up to cycle between art at specific times. It's pricey, and you've got to find a creative way to hide that cable, but all in all, I'm a fan of this one. More for a bit of fun really, I saw this charger online and it's just wacky, so I decided to check it out. If you've got one of these new phones which charge with ultra fast speeds, this probably isn't for you, but it does have a few cool features. A matte finish, LED lights on the inside if you're into that, and dual USB ports to charge 2 things at once. I've shown you guys a couple of external smartphone monitors already in past episodes, but none better than this one right here, the Faytech Flat. You're looking at a 12.5-inch 1080p screen that basically lets you see whatever's on your phone, but bigger. And 3 things I was surprised by here. First of all, just how slim it is. You're obviously going to need some sort of backpack to carry it in, but in terms of the volume and the weight, it's barely there. The second thing is that inside the rather nice pouch that comes with it, you get a frankly genius stand. It's not the prettiest, but as far as having something practical that can be folded into any shape, well played. And thirdly, the clincher, is that this in itself is actually a 10-point capacitive touchscreen. So it's not just that it can show what your phone is showing, it's that you can actually use this instead of your phone. The only 2 things to bear in mind is that it doesn't have a built-in battery of its own, so you have to keep it plugged into some sort of battery bank to make it work, and that I just wish it was brighter. You might struggle in broad daylight. Volterman is a company that claimed to make world's #1 smart wallet, to which you might be thinking, I didn't even know that was a product category. Is nothing sacred anymore? Well, it kinda surprised me. If you can deal with the price and the extra thickness that comes with having something like this, there's a lot going on here. For example, protection from losing it. At any point in time, you can log on online and see the exact GPS coordinates of this wallet. And if you just dropped it behind the sofa, for example, it's got an alarm in it, which you can make it ring. But cooler still is that it's got a built-in camera to take photos of any potential thief and send them to you. And then there's the fact that a lot of this thickness comes from a built-in battery. And it's not a small battery either. The actual amount depends on exactly which type of wallet you go for, but to give you an idea, this bifold one has 2,600 mAh of juice. That's enough to give almost any phone a 50% charge, and it can do that wirelessly. What is strange though is that the smartphone app looks beautiful on iOS and just terrible on Android. I don't know what's going on there. There's a lot of naff Bluetooth keyboards out there, ones with either tiny fidgety keys or just some sort of serious latency issue. Well, this isn't one of them. In fact, so far this is my favorite Bluetooth keyboard for smartphones, primarily because of this folding mechanism. It allows you to fit what is essentially a full quality laptop keyboard into a much smaller frame. The 2 downsides I'd say are that, first of all, it is small enough to fit into my pocket, but it might not be small enough to fit into yours. And the other one is just that occasionally when I'm typing on a not so flat surface, it can sometimes fold up a little bit. But any reasonably solid surface is absolutely fine to type on. Combine this with that monitor I showed you earlier, and this is starting to feel less and less like working on a phone, as you know it. Okay, a selfie stick. Believe it or not, I'm not much of a selfie person, but I like the direction the company has gone in here. There's a single sturdy handle, and the extendable stick just kind of folds out from there, reaching a maximum of about ½ a meter. Nothing crazy. But hidden here is almost a pro-level bit of kit. For starters, it can double as an adjustable stand for watching videos. It can screw into a tripod with this little connection on the bottom, so you can take those stabilized nighttime photos. And the top allows you to mount a microphone or an LED light. The cherry on top here is that the Bluetooth remote that you use to take the selfies, you can actually slide it out, so you can use it remotely. You can use the stand to rest the phone on a table, step 3 meters away, and then take a photo from a distance. If you're enjoying the video, by the way, a sub to the channel would be amazing. This stuff takes an age to get together. Okay, also from the same company is a product that I think is a cool concept, but has questionable execution. It's a stylus, one that clips magnetically onto the back of your phone. Cool. It can also do the same stuff that the shutter button I showed you before could, like remotely take photos. I'd even go as far as to say it's a nice pen to use. It's just that it doesn't really offer any more accuracy than your finger. It's just for people who like the idea of using a pen. Now for something wearable. This is the Ticwatch Pro 2020. And I've been using it for about 3.5 weeks now, which is as long as I've ever used a smartwatch. But I will preface this by saying I'm not personally a fan of smartwatches in general, the idea of having yet another thing that's buzzing and sending me notifications. But as far as smartwatches go, this does a lot of things that I appreciate. Compared to the company's last model, it's got twice the RAM and supposedly military-level durability, which I haven't put to the test yet, but I can say there isn't a scratch on the surface yet. And probably the coolest part of this watch is that it has 2 displays, stacked on top of each other. Your standard smartwatch AMOLED screen, but also an old school LCD for battery. I guess it's for people who want to have full smartwatch features, like the fitness capabilities, but who don't need a smartwatch viewing experience all the time. Like if you just use that LCD display, this thing has 30 days of battery life. Now, I talk a lot about great smartphone gadgets that I love using on these videos. This is not one of them. I bought it specifically to make a point that different is not always good. This is the JamJar. It's a Bluetooth speaker with some quite strange engineering decisions, like the fact that the main speaker is actually firing downwards, directly onto the surface that it's standing on. What it wants you to do is to pair your phone via Bluetooth, place your phone inside, and then use a separate remote to control your music. Who thought of this? Like, whose eureka moment was it to place their phone inside a glass box and then, instead of controlling music using your phone, like a normal person, to then pick up a remote to do it, which has a 3-foot range on a good day? Product design done right? Product design done wrong. Welcome to something that means business. This is for people who hoard gadgets, the kind of person who works on their phone, tablet, and laptop at the same time. I am proudly calling this one the Power Tower. You're looking at basically an extension lead with 6 mains ports on it. You've got 4 full-size USB ports, and then for your smartphone on top is a 10-watt wireless charger. What's also cool is you can rotate it to draw back in the cable, so it's not making a mess on your table. It is fairly cheap feeling plastic, but it looks good just sitting on your desk. Now, almost more relevant than ever, glass wipes, and none I've tried are better than Zeiss's. The company do have a separate wipe just for smartphones, but from my experience, these multi-purpose ones work amazingly. And actually, as well as smartphones, nothing has cleaned my MacBook screen better than this. The liquid formula they've put on these, it just seems to slice through all those deep fingerprint smudges that build up over time, and it gives you that nice new tech product feeling. It's fast drying, it doesn't scratch, and it won't leave streaks on your screens. Alright, so I found a company recently that I really like. They make neat looking gadgets with high quality finishes, like these, and they all seem to have one extra trick. So for example, this right here is a tiny dock for your phone with the 3 ports you'd probably expect, a USB-C, an HDMI, and a USB-A. But then flick to the left, you've got a headphone jack too. That's cool. But then we've got the Dockwave, which is probably a better example of this idea. On the face of it, it's a USB-C dock. You're looking at a whole series of ports and connectors, and you probably don't need telling what they do. You can connect your microSD cards to your laptop, or you can use this with some phones to connect them to a TV, if all you have is a normal HDMI cable. But the Dockwave also triples as a 5000 mAh battery and as a wireless charger, but only with 5 watts of power. And their third product I liked is the multi-device charging station, to which you might be thinking, why not just call it a wireless charger like normal people? Well, it is a wireless charger, with space for 2 devices at the same time, and quite a nice one. But the cherry on top is that you also get a USB-A port and a USB-C port. So in total, you can charge 4 things at the same time here. None of them at maximum speed, mind you, but if you're charging overnight, that probably doesn't matter too much. Now for the OlloClip. I love the idea of this product. You'll see what I mean in a second. So you open the box and you get this, and it's actually 2 things. Slide out the clear section, and this is a stand for your phone, leaving this alien looking piece here, which actually allows you to attach camera modules onto both the back and the front of your phone. The system works great. Modules snap into place with a reassuring click, and you can interchange them freely. But I just wish there was a bigger range of really high quality lenses to choose from. As far as a system for doing this, this is the best I've ever used, but the lenses themselves are okay. I've got a whole series of smartphone gadgets videos on this channel, so I'll link them somewhere up here. And if you enjoyed this, do consider subscribing, that would be incredible. These videos take an absolute age to put together, but I hope you like them. Thanks for watching, my name is Aaron, this is Mr. Who's the Boss, and I'll catch you in the next one.